everybody, my name is Ada,
I'm Christine.
and we have the Peabody Picture Vocabulary Test 4, or the PPVT-4, and we're just going to tell you a little bit about it, about how to administer it, about how to score it, and also just where to begin and end, and acceptable and unacceptable responses, as well as modifications. So yeah, so first you begin by administering the training items. In general, training page A will be used for examinees younger than 4 years old, and then training page B will be used for examinees 4 years old and older. In order to proceed with testing, the examinee must respond correctly and without help to at least 2 out of 4 training items. So we're going to do a little demo of how to administer the training items.
So this is training page B. So this
Because
would be,
I'm older than 4, so we're using page B.
yes, ages 4 through adult. So I would say I'd point to each of the 4 pictures and say, look at the pictures on this page. Put your finger on the picture that shows laughing. Good. Now put your finger on sleeping. Good. So if they have to answer 2 questions correctly in order to move on to the test itself. And okay, yeah.
Yeah, so when determining where to start the actual test, the easel actually has directions with the sections that best match the examinee's age level. So if you are 4, you would start at item 13. If you're 5, 37, and so on. So it has a very clear chart table on here for the examiner to know exactly where to start the testing.
And there are 12 items in a set, and all the 12 set items must be given completely and in order. A basal set must first be established, which means 0 or 1 error on the set. And if the examinee does not establish the basal set on the set that corresponds to their age, they regress to the next set and try again until the basal is established. The ceiling set is established when the examinee makes 8 or more errors in one set. And at that point, the testing is finished.
So that's really put in place to make sure that no examinee is sitting here taking the, or like being administered this test too long. It really focuses on a specific range of abilities for the examinee, because they're not taking, words that are way too hard or words that are way too easy, and the basal and the ceiling sets really help push that. So things that you can say during the test when you're administering is point to the word, put your finger on word, show me word, find word, where is word, and what number is word if the examinee prefers to say the number instead of the name.
And some acceptable and unacceptable responses. The examinee can point to the picture or say the corresponding number, as Ada said. And if there are extreme motor or speech impairments, the clinician can point to each picture, and the examinee can communicate their answer via head shakes or nods, a communication board, or something else like eye blinks, which makes this test really well suited for a wide variety of populations. And this must be noted in the record form and report if modifications were made to your test protocol.
Yep, the clinician may give generous but not excessive feedback during the testing, such as good or you're doing well, and that's fine, but you must not say if an answer is correct or incorrect. And it's okay to repeat the stimulus words, but coaching or hints are not allowed. There's no penalty for guessing, so definitely encourage them to guess if they don't know. And if the examinee appears distracted, it's appropriate to say, listen carefully, or pay attention, or look at the page. Sometimes younger children will repeatedly point to the same quadrant, And it's acceptable for the clinician to say, be sure to look carefully at all the pictures before choosing one. Or to point to each picture and say, look at this one, and this one, and this one. And ending on a picture on a quadrant that the child has not been fixated on.
And there's not a set time allowed for this test. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes on average. However, if the examinee does not respond after 10 seconds, the clinician should say, try one, and point to the one you think it might be. And if they still don't respond, you're going to have to mark that as an error on the sheet. And in terms of setting, you'd like to find a quiet and private room with adequate lighting, and sit across the corner of the desk from each other in appropriately sized chairs, like Ada and I are now. I'd be in the administrator position. And make sure that the clinician can see the pictures that are being pointed to, and that the examinee cannot see the score sheet, that it would be hidden behind the easel. So ideally probably be a little lower table so that the clinician could see the page as well as her own.
Yeah, and so for preferred administrators, the PPVT can be administered and scored by individuals with a range of educational backgrounds, so you don't have to be an SLP to administer the test, but qualifications do include that the examiner must be thoroughly familiar with the test materials and have received training in procedures for individual test administration, as well as been taught methods for computing the PPVT-4 raw scores, and also knowing how to use the norm tables to obtain the derived scores. One thing to note is that it's extremely important, since it's a vocabulary receptive test, that the examiner is proficient and correct in producing each of the stimulus words. There's pronunciation guides provided in the record forms for some of the upper level words that may be unfamiliar, to really make sure that you're saying the words correctly.
Yeah.
Is that it? Should we do like a sample of just...
Sure. Go to get started.
Yeah, since I'm old, we're gonna do a short demo of an administration. So let's say we already did training page B. I got at least 2 correct independently. Christine is gonna go straight to the set that it told her to on the easel. So we're starting at set.
I don't have my record form or anything.
Okay, here, we're gonna grab the record form that is right here. 1 second.
All right. Let's start at set 14.
So we're starting at set 14, because I'm 18 years and older.
So I would say, let's see, so we both see it, I'd say point to primate.
This one.
Point to glider.
This one. This is hard.
Point to weary.
This one?
And I'd be circling them the whole time for responses. The record sheet is really nice in that the correct responses are highlighted in red, so you can see right away if it's right or not. And they want you to put a slash through the E for if it's an error, and then that's really easy to count at the end the number of errors. So you can see, was it 0 or 1? Can we count this as the basal? And then as you move on, were there 8 errors? And okay, I'm all done. So it's really easy to see as you go.
Yeah, so let's say in this set, if I got 1 or 2 wrong, then this is going to be our basal. And we will just keep going until we hit that ceiling set where I get 8 or more wrong in the set. But let's say for my first set that was administered, I got 8 or more wrong. We would, since we started at set 14, we would go back to set 13 and we'd keep going backwards until we reached a set where I only got 0 or 1 wrong.
That's right.
And due to the complete set rule, there's 12 sets in each, there's 12 stimuli in each set, and you have to complete all 12 stimuli, even if I get all 12 stimuli wrong. You have to present them in order from 1 to 12.
So
Yeah, but I like the PPVT. Do you
it's
like
a
the
great
PPVT?
test.
Yeah.
I do. Very simple, easy to administer, quick. Gives you a lot of good information. So
All right. Bye.
bye.